In this video, we will learn how to count back change in a cash transaction. Counting change back to your guests may seem like a small detail, but it's an essential skill that ensures accuracy, builds trust, and prevents costly mistakes. Failing to count back a guest's change can cause confusion, even if the amount is correct. When you rely solely on the cash register to tell you the amount of change, mistakes can happen, especially if the guest changes the amount they give you. This can lead to errors that cost your business money and can leave guests frustrated. Counting back change is a simple but important process that ensures accuracy and builds trust with your customers. Let's walk through how it works. Start by stating the total cost of the purchase. The total is $8.75. In this example, the guest gives you $20. The cash register will give you the amount of change to give back to the guest. As I mentioned, it's best practice to ignore this amount. We will count the guest's change back manually instead. Add coins to reach the next whole dollar. Start with the smallest denominations and count aloud as you go. $8.75. 25 makes $9. And 1 makes 10. Then 10 makes 20. By counting back change, you demonstrate transparency, reduce errors, and provide the customer with a clear confirmation that they received the correct amount. Let's go over one more example. The total comes to $16.21. The guest gives you a $100 bill. First, count the change back to yourself as you are pulling it from the cash drawer, starting with the coins to bring you up to the next whole dollar. 16.21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 50, 75, 17, 18, 19, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 20 more makes 100. Now you'll count the change a second time out loud as you give it to your guest. In most situations, you won't have to worry about counting back individual coins. Instead, as you hand the coins to your guest, start with the next whole dollar amount. 16.21, 17, 18, 19, 20, 40, 60, 80, and 20 more makes 100. By counting the change back to yourself as you pull it out of your cash drawer, then counting it a second time as you give it to the guest, you are double-checking the amount, allowing you to catch any mistakes. This can sometimes happen with new bills that are fresh from the bank. They have a tendency to stick together. You may not notice this when pulling them from your drawer because you are only using one hand. When you are counting the bills back to your guest, you'll be using two hands, making it easier to catch those sticky bills. Often a guest will give you an extra penny to reduce the amount of multiple smaller coins they may receive. This is a common practice to avoid receiving lots of loose change. For example, let's say the total bill comes to $9.76. If the guest gives you $10, they will get 24 cents back. If they give you an extra penny, simply add the penny to the amount of change that they are getting back. This changes their change back to 25 cents, allowing you to give them a single quarter instead of a bunch of loose change. In this case, it would be mathematically correct to give them back 25 pennies, but it would only be appropriate if you were wearing a clown suit. It's best practice to use the largest possible denominations of coins and bills when giving back change. Some establishments have stopped using pennies altogether. They typically implement rounding rules to simplify cash transactions. This process is used to round the total amount to the nearest 5 cents. Here's how it works. When pennies are eliminated, cash totals are rounded to the nearest 5 cents based on the second decimal place. If the cents are less than 5, round down to the nearest nickel. If they are more than 5, then round up to the next nickel. When the total ends in a 5 or a 0, it is already at a multiple of 5 and does not need to be rounded further. Eliminating pennies and rounding to the nearest nickel is used by some businesses to simplify cash transactions. Sometimes the customer will benefit when we round down. Other times the business will benefit when we round up. Over time, everything will even out. For electronic payments, the exact total is charged, so rounding is unnecessary. To review, counting back change is simply using currency to count up from the amount owed to the amount received. By doing this, you will be giving back the correct change every time. Thanks for watching!